Good evening, friends. Welcome to the India Power Talk. As you know, India Power Talk is an initiative wherein we invite international thought leaders and domain experts to create an easily accessible digital reservoir of their insights, experiences, and strategies on the economy. For today's conversation, I'm going to focus on what makes a legendary global brand. Today, I have with me highly experienced Emanuele Sacerdote from Milan, Italy, who has recently authored a book about legendary brands. Emanuele, may I ask you to begin by giving a short intro about your earlier work and the book Legendary Brands?
The idea was to find out to find out the decodification about why a brand becoming legend. And just to make you an example, Indially based, is a few days ago in last August, the Gandhi's glasses has been in an auction, was sold for $304,000. So the idea is why a pair of glasses have been sold for this amount, this huge amount of money. So the answer is because those glasses were by Gandhi, that is a legend. So what I try to do in my book is to find out, not from a person point of view, from a V point of view, but from a brand point of view, the reason why of these brands become legend. My experience is in the first 20 years in companies. First start from advertising agency and then moving to the companies. Into the companies, I work in some, let's say, from my perspective, some legend like Ferrari. And so I did a job related to marketing, strategic marketing, retail, and business development. Then I had this opportunity to have the chance to enter in my family business, and is a small company, is a small Italian company, very old because it's just 160 years old, and then I found my consultancy agency is very small. We do some job much more related to the books that I wrote about strategic planning and strategic thinking.
Could you quickly share with us your experience with Ferrari?
Yes, Ferrari. I worked for Ferrari from 2005 to 2008. My experience was related to retail business development. So if you have in mind the Ferrari store, I started in a company where there was only stores in Italy, and I bring the concept around the world. We selected three main regional area: China, Middle East, and then US. So in that year, I mean, I was the general manager, and we developed the products, and we opened stores in franchising around the world. So that's it.
Great. What according to you distinguishes a legendary brand from other brands? In other words, what is the identity kit of any legendary brand?
If you see the market today, I mean, if you go in a supermarket, if you go in a commercial district, you see a lot of products, many products. There is a clutter of products. Most of them are unbranded products. Then there are many branded products.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, the reality is that there are very few leaders into the market. And even more, there are at least less than few beauties, and then very limited masterpiece, legendary masterpiece. How to become legendary? So the idea is exactly the following. It's very important, the storytelling of the company. By the way, every company, every brand, every product has a story. I mean, if you ask to any marketing manager, any entrepreneur, there is story behind a products, why they invented and whatever. But the reality is that only few of them, very limited few products can become legend. And what is a legend? Legend is something positive, okay?
Mhm.
It's something that is relevant to say in the market. If we think to the history of the man, we imagine the legendary was one of the first way to describe rules, to fix rules, and to say to the new generation which is the rule. So at the end of the day, today, a legend has a positive meaning into a society, into a community, or worldwide, or whatever. I found out three key elements that for me is the way to understand if the brand is legendary or not. So the first
Mhm.
one is unreplicable. That means that you have done something, you have done a business project, you have done a product that is difficult to replicate.
Mhm.
Okay. The second issue is that the legendary brand is scalable. The last, that maybe is the most important, is that the legend is fascinating.
Apart from Emanuele, apart from Ferrari, Armani, and Chanel, you said, could you give some more example of legendary brands?
So
Okay.
Tesla
Mhm.
is a new brand, is a newcomer. So
Mhm.
it's not a long story, but what they have done, they have disrupted completely the
Mhm.
category of car, exotic car and
Mhm.
electric car. And the other famous German cars decided to follow. The idea is that it's not just an issues of story, as I already say. It's an issues of to be disruptive. Is
Mhm.
to generate a new category, to generate a new standard, to generate a new attractive solution, a new venture, whatever you want to call. The founder of the business idea is fundamental. I
Mhm.
mean, I analyze Armani, Vespa,
Yes.
Tesla, Google, Apple. I mean, Chanel. So the I think some uh, relevance reading what was the founders. So the founders was a contrarian guy. So was a new visionary. He was not interesting to understand which was the common things to do it. The interesting thing was to go against
Mhm.
tradition.
How do you see the founders of the recent companies,
The of new venture company
the
that
new
today
age,
go.
or the new digital companies? Can you see any founder of the new digital company really distinguishing himself like a legendary brand?
I mean, I think I believe that I mean the market need followers, need leader, and need legend. Okay, at the end of the day. So
Mm-hmm.
today I think that there are a lot of complexity in the market. So
Mm-hmm.
today to be a future legend will be much more difficult. For
Mm-hmm.
example, I do not believe that in the real economy, in the real sorry, in the old economy, like in the car business, like in the luxury business, will be possible to have newcomers raising new legendary brands. So if you want to be legendary, I mean, you need to find out a new category, a new segment, a new industry, and to point out that industry and to build something that will be distinguished, that will be disrupted, that will be new, that whatever I already say.
So would you
So
consider would you consider Facebook, Google as a legendary brands?
yes, Google, it's absolutely a legendary brand for me. I mean, my idea was to read different categories, not just luxury, and because
Understood.
I mean, so the idea was that Apple is absolutely a legend because they have done the things in a different way. I mean, Samsung I like very much, but it's
Mhm.
less disruptive. Even more, Samsung. I mean, of course, there will be a founder, okay, but the role in the history of Apple, in the history of Google, in the history of IKEA, for example, the role of the founder was absolutely much more important.
Great. During the discussion last week, you mentioned to me about the first principle of code of legendary brands. No, Could you please give us the definition of your definition of the commercial activity, what you mentioned?
Okay, the issue was to write a code. So it's based on 10 principles. So the first principle is the most important one, that is related to commercial creativity. It's exactly the same of the scientific
Mhm.
creativity and the artistic creativity. What I wanted to say is that Guglielmo Marconi, when he invented the radio
Yes.
wireless, the wireless radio, he used a lot of creativity, but downloaded to scientific. Okay, so when Leonardo da Vinci made his artworks, I mean, he worked with artificial creativity.
Mhm.
Those people must have an incredible imagination of the absence. Okay, so the idea of the commercial creativity is exactly the same.
Mhm.
So into the mind of the founder should be a need or should be an intention to feel something that didn't exist
Mhm.
or can be in a different way. So the idea of the commercial creativity is related to be as much as possible revolutionary.
You said in the 10th principle, you talk about the better world and wisdom. Now, how did these brands perform during the first lockdown in the COVID-19 period?
I was already prepared to release the brand before the COVID, and then I decided to stop because what I wanted to do is to understand what some of those brands what they can do it in terms of practical things.
Mhm.
So the idea, the 10 principle about the better world means that if you are a legend, you are leading, you are observed by the business community, by the consumer, by all the others. So the issue is that you must be example and again exemplar for the community. So you must be, one of your duty is to create a better world. Okay? So Ferrari creates some ventilator. He engineered some ventilator for the hospital and produce for free and distribute.
Let's move to. You spoke about digital branding or the new age, legendary brands. So, what's your sensation about the future of legendary brands?
Okay, I can do an estimation. I think that the next legendary brand will be the company that will invent the vaccine for the COVID. Okay, so I mean there is a long there is a long list of companies that are fighting to be the first one. So
Yes.
the first one will be a legend, believe me. By the way, as I mentioned before, the great possibility to becoming a legend is in the let's say
Digital
IoT.
IoT. Yes. Do you think, Emmanuel, that with the penetration of, see, today the entire world is connected. We all are 6
Yes.
billion people are connected with mobile phones, internet, and social media, and through all devices we are connected. Now, what would be your advice to small companies? How could they become a legend? First of all, can a small company become a legendary brand in that instance? And small company not from the old economy or the new economy, just any small company.
Um, the issues of legendary, it's an international wise. Okay, so the idea was to be globalized. The company that I mentioned are globalized. If we reduce the space, if we, on a geographical point of view, and we decide that there may be some, like in Italy or in India, I mean, the geographical the geographical area that we want to analyze is India or Italy or whatever, maybe also for small company. I mean, they can be leader first and then becoming legend. Of course, it's not an issue of geographic, it's an issue of to do something disruptive. So one of the risks of small business and sometimes they are follower. Okay, they are not leader because they have not the capability to do it. Maybe some of them, I mean, if we think to I mentioned about the garage, I mean, if we think to the original momentum of Google, there was Yahoo, there was other brands. So today there is only one. Okay, so maybe if we reduce the geographical and maybe in a small market, maybe some small brands can become legend in that
Geographic.
specific area. One of the rule of the legend is because they play in advance. They don't they play they force to be in advance, and sometimes they are too much in advance.
You're right. Is there anything, something very unique which you would like to share about legendary brands?
The most important things is the intention. Is the intention, is the idea. What I mentioned is the commercial creativity, but you need to believe, you need to evaluate things with the heart, with the stomach,
Mhm.
and also to judge with the brain. But it's an issue of intention. Thinking different with a different perspective, looking the things in a. So I think that this is for me is one of the most important understanding of my book.
What would be your one message to the potential legendary brands?
Think different if it's possible, and try to do something as much as consistent. Find out the moment of fame.
Mhm.
Try to be distinguished
Mhm.
from a certain way. By the way, to be honest, I mean, there are few rooms to be legend in the market. So
Mhm.
maybe we need also very good followers
Correct.
that do the quality. And so, I mean, if you are not chance to be a relevant legend, be a very strong follower, let's say.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you, Emanuel. I would like to thank the Indian Chamber of Commerce, LawSeco, and the India SME Accelerator Network. Let me conclude my vote of thanks with the humble prayer to the Almighty to bestow mankind with the right spirit to fight coronavirus and help restore peace, prosperity, and bliss. Thank you, Emanuel.